couldn't get gas.
Man behind these budget cuts.
Spending as little money as possible.
End of the Road, How Money Became Worthless, a public finance assignment for Dr. Lukongo by Sean Joffrion.
The second indispensable element of the new prosperity is to stop the rise in the cost of living.
In the summer of 1971, President Richard Nixon made a decision that would forever alter the course of the global economy. He announced that the United States would no longer convert dollars into gold, effectively serving the link between paper money and tangible value. The decision, known as the Nixon shock, marked the end of the Bretton Woods system, ushering in a new era of fiat currency.
The Fed know where the dollar is at all times.
For decades, the United States dollar had been backed by gold, ensuring that every printed bill had an equivalent reserve in precious metal. This provided economic stability and global confidence in the American currency. But as government spending increased, especially to fund the Vietnam War and expansive social programs, the United States found itself in a dilemma. The world had accumulated more dollars than the United States had gold to back, creating a crisis of confidence.
Le fait que beaucoup d'États acceptent par principe des dollars au même titre que de l'or.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
Countries like France and Germany began demanding gold in exchange for the U.S. dollars, fearing that the paper currency was losing its true value. Under immense pressure and fearing a financial collapse, Nixon took an unprecedented step of closing the gold window. The dollar was no longer tied to gold. It became a fiat currency, its value determined not by a tangible asset, but by trust in the U.S. government.
The effect of this action, in other words, will be to stabilize the dollar.
There's no shortage. I don't believe there's a shortage.
The odd-even system can't do anything about the problem of no gas. Some of the people online here have been in other lines and still don't have a tank of gas.
The immediate impact was dramatic. Inflation surged as the value of the dollar fluctuated. Without the constraint of gold reserves, the United States government could print money freely, leading to an increase in national debt. Over time, wages stagnated, the cost of living soared, and wealth inequality widened.
Coffee is much higher. Coffee is a lot higher. That's the main thing that I notice.
Any other items?
You'll have to ask her. She does most of the shopping.
But the effects of Nixon's decision extend far beyond the 1970s. The ripple effects continue to shape today's economy. The removal of gold standard paved the way for central banks to manipulate interest rates and inject liquidity into the markets. It fueled decades of economic expansion, but also led to speculative bubbles, financial crisis, and rising national debt.
Incredible day on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now down 271.53 points.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally across these markets. Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate. We're red everywhere, essentially, down by 4-5%.
The financial crisis of 2008 was in many ways a consequence of the fiat system. With no hard asset backing money, credit expanded rapidly, leading to reckless lending and speculative investments. When the bubble burst, governments responded with more money printing, quantitative easing, further fueling inflation and wealth disparities.
BRICS countries, the original BRICS plus the new members of BRICS, are far away from having anything that can rival the dollar's dominance. The unified BRICS currency, Russia, India, China, Brazil getting together and sharing currency, that's not going to happen.
Today, America faces mounting challenges. record high national debt, inflationary pressures, and increasing concerns over the dollar's status as the world reserve's currency. Meanwhile, some nations are exploring alternatives to the dollar, raising questions about its long-term dominance in global trade.
$5,000 Trump Doge stimulus checks could return billions back to Americans.
And I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency.
On Wednesday, the Treasury Department released its monthly fiscal statement, and, well, things don't look good.
Nixon's decision to abandon the gold standard was a turning point, one that allows short-term flexibility but created long-term instability. The world has yet to find a perfect monetary system, and the debate over sound money continues.
Debt servicing alone cost the US nearly $500 billion in the past 5 months, and is expected to rise steeply in the coming years, especially if the US continues to run large deficits.
The question remains, was Nixon's decision necessary, or was it a step toward economic uncertainty that we continue to pay for today? One thing is certain. The road that began in 1971 has shaped the financial world we live in now, and its consequences will be felt for generations to come.
Thank you for joining us on the Night Team. I'm Doug Proffitt. Is the gold really still in Kentucky? It's our top story right here for you tonight. That's the question President Donald Trump keeps raising as he continues to mention a possible future visit to Fort Knox to check on the famous gold vault.
The end of the gold standard was not just an economic shift. It was a transformation of value itself. And as we look at the future, we must ask, what will money be worth tomorrow?
Reforms to set up an urgently needed new international monetary system. Stability and equal treatment is in everybody's best interest. I am determined that the American dollar must never again be a hostage in the hands of international speculators. I'm taking one further step to protect the dollar, to improve our balance of payments, and to increase jobs for Americans. As a temporary measure, I am today imposing an additional tax of 10% on goods imported into the United States. This is a better solution for international trade than direct controls on the amount of imports. This import tax is a temporary action. It isn't directed against any other country. It's an action to make certain that American products will not be at a disadvantage